Welcome to the Luna Lab, all things tech through the lens of Gen Z. I'm your host, Luna Leo, and I'm exploring what the hell is going on in this tech-saturated world I've been born into. Why are all of my friendships managed through social media? Why am I addicted to my phone? Why did my parents grow up with tree houses while I grew up with Minecraft? On this podcast, I investigate these questions and more. So turn off your apps, turn on your brains, and join me in the Luna Lab. Are you switching to Signal? I know I am. This question and answer has probably been asked millions of times since WhatsApp new policy was released on January 8th. So what's WhatsApp and its new policy? It's a cross-platform messaging and voice-over IP service that's used by over 2 billion people and owned by Facebook. And it recently notified users that its privacy policy is going to be updated, and that users would have to agree to share personal information with Facebook, like their phone number and location. If users didn't agree to the new terms by February 8th, 2021, then they would have lost access to their accounts. The change is even more predatory for WhatsApp users in Canada and the United States, because the app's terms and services contains a binding arbitration provision, which means that by using the app and agreeing to its terms, users agree to resolve any disputes it may have with the app, quote, including those relating to arising out of or in any way in connection with your rights of privacy and publicity, unquote, without a judge or jury. Which means that if you decide to continue using this app, you will basically have sold yourself to Facebook in return for an app that does the basic functions of a phone, which is texting and calling someone. This is because they'll be able to monitor your exact location, everything you've texted, and if you believe that they've gone overboard with something, there's unfortunately nothing you can do about it. So why did WhatsApp suddenly implement these new terms? Well, nobody actually knows. This is because the first 3 suggestions from Google on this topic all come from WhatsApp. And then the 4th suggestion, a global news article, completely contradicts what WhatsApp claims in the previous 3. Additionally, according to Systrix's analysis of 1 billion Google searches, over a quarter of the searches click on the first organic result. The first organic result in Google search has an average click-through rate of 28.5%. while the second and third positions have a 15% and 11% click-through rate, respectively. And unsurprisingly, the 10th position in Google has a minimal 2.5% click-through rate, which means that the majority of users who want to learn about what this really means will not receive an answer, because they'll probably be clicking into one of WhatsApp's websites, where they mostly talk about what they are not doing, instead of telling us what they are. So how can we possibly get clarity on this? And even if there was an article that gave us an exact answer from someone within WhatsApp, it's probably on one of the last pages of the search. Unfortunately, nobody has the patience to scroll that far to find the answer. Since the announcement of the change, the general public is now scared and realized how invasive this change is and are expressing their rage on Twitter. For example, Alex Basson, a WhatsApp user, tweeted, quote, "I deleted my WhatsApp last week. I definitely lost some contacts, and that sucks, but I've come to see Facebook as a criminal enterprise. I can't afford to give them access to my data." This portrays users' increasing suspicion about companies' use for their data. Whenever we hear about increasing companies' access to our data, we often jump to conclusions and worst-case scenarios. For example, when I first read this, I immediately wrote a few paragraphs based on my assumptions of why they did this, which included wanting access to gain knowledge on aspects that remain unfamiliar to them, because I'm trained to believe in the worst possibility. This is because we are now questioning the invasive nature of these apps, and are on high alert in a way we weren't 5 years ago. In the past, when there was a policy change, everyone would simply press agree and then move on with their day. However, for the first time, there's people standing their ground and expressing how they believe it's wrong and are deleting the app, the action that these companies fear the most. Additionally, the topic of data security is now more openly talked about at schools and in general conversations, because there's now documentaries like The Social Dilemma and interviews where people within Silicon Valley are expressing their fears and questions. Moreover, India as a country wants this change to be withdrawn, In an email to Will Cathcart, the head of WhatsApp, the ministry said that the update to the app's data sharing policy has raised, quote, grave concerns regarding the implications for the choice and autonomy of Indian citizens. Therefore, you are called upon to withdraw the proposed changes, unquote. The ministry is also seeking clarification from WhatsApp on its data sharing agreement with Facebook and other commercial firms, and has asked why users in the European Union are exempt from the new privacy policy, but they have no choice but to comply, and called it, quote, discriminatory treatment, unquote. They'll ask respect for the rights and interests of Indian citizens. So if the IT Minister of India can't figure it out, how can the average citizen? Additionally, this shows how the Indian government cares about the privacy of its citizens and is willing to do anything to protect it. Additionally, their IT and law minister, Ravi Shankar Prasad, offered loud advice to Facebook, which is that, quote, be it WhatsApp, be it Facebook, be it any digital platform. You are free to do business in India, but do it in a manner without impinging upon the rights of Indians who operate there, unquote. So what's WhatsApp going to do about this? They still have not responded to India's officials, but I believe that WhatsApp and India may have to settle on a new set of terms that fulfills both parties' wants, because losing India's market would be dreadful to them. This is because India is one of the largest markets for WhatsApp, with more than 400 million users, and the company's plans for the country extend beyond just messaging. Since 2020, users can send money to each other through the app. It has also become a platform for many things. For example, small businesses and corporations are using WhatsApp to conduct commerce, payments, and sharing of payroll data. So the stakes for WhatsApp in India are very high. Thus, WhatsApp does not want to be clear on exactly what this new policy is, because they may have to change its policy, since India is a crucial player in its trajectory. So why is Europe exempted from this privacy change? Well, first and foremost, according to a WhatsApp spokesperson, it does not share European region WhatsApp user data with Facebook for the purpose of using this data to improve its products or advertisements. However, the new version of the privacy policy for European users explicitly says that data can be shared with other Facebook companies to show personalized advertising and offers, make suggestions for content, and help to complete purchases. This change is significantly less invasive and has already been implemented in the terms of users outside of Europe for a long time now. And WhatsApp is only able to add these terms now because of negotiations with European data protection bodies, which shows that Europe's tighter privacy regulations, which states that companies must be clear and concise about the collection and use of personal data and why it is being collected, and most importantly, whether it will be used to create profiles of people's actions and habits. Moreover, consumers will gain the right to access data companies collect about them, the right to correct inaccurate information, and the right to limit the use of decisions made by algorithms, among others. Through this, it is evident that the implementation of these laws in 2018 is quite impactful and has significantly reduced the data collected on European users. Something that emphasizes what is to be lost with poor messaging is the impact that Elon Musk's tweet had on the stock prices of WhatsApp's competitors. After Elon Musk tweeted, quote, use Signal, unquote, on January 7th, Signal shares soared as much as 11,708% and caused the unrelated Signal Advance stock to surge 5,643%. And Signal had to come out and say that their stocks are not publicly traded and that Signal Advance is not them. Additionally, Elon Musk replied to a tweet telling him to invest in Signal by saying, quote, already donated to Signal a year ago. We'll donate more, unquote. So will Signal be able to disrupt the market enough to the point that we all transfer? And will it implement the correct ethics to keep its users? If it does, hopefully it can tell us more clearly what exactly it is doing with our data than WhatsApp has done. This is because in a climate where no one trusts social media platforms anymore, they cannot get away with this poor effort in communicating with users what is happening to our information. We are finally, collectively, on to you. You've reached the end of another episode of the Luna Lab. For more information, please check out lunalabpodcast.com and follow me on Instagram at lunalab.podcast.